with her. Hello, I am so excited about today's call. Do you guys ever feel like I have to say that every week? But can I just share? It is something I look forward to every week, just like I brush my teeth at night. I like look forward to brushing my teeth because I know it's like that's the sign of getting into my bed. And I'm really excited to just be here and to connect with all of you. And we have an awesome lineup of some training that we're going to do. And I'm just excited. And I hope that you guys will prep this time in your mind as the summer months approach. I was talking to a few leaders this morning and I was like, it's so easy to get out of routine when you are in summer months and you have places to be and things to do and the pool to go to. And I really hope that this time works better. And if we need to move it up a little bit more so that you guys can get out and be on like with your day, we can move it up if we need to. So just kind of get some fillers in your mind of what your summer looks like and setting aside 40 minutes once a week to be on this call. So I wanted to share that, but we're going to just go ahead and get started. Joni, really quick, you're still good to share today, correct? Okay. I'm putting her on the spot a little bit. We talked about it earlier, and then I'm just thinking to myself, I never confirmed with her, but I'm so glad she's here because she has a lot of nuggets to share. But she is going to share her experience from this last weekend. She sent me some fun pictures. If you haven't seen them, she's posted them on Facebook. Go look. She even put them in our thread, so go look at them, guys. But she's going to take about 10, 12 minutes to share about this, and then we're going to hear from Karli, and then Amanda and I are going to wrap up the call. So go ahead, Joni.
Okay.
Yours.
So let me just tell you that my church is amazing. It's called Victory, and you can even Google it online because they share all their stuff online, victory.com, Tulsa. They hosted a 2-day business conference, and they chose Christian godly leaders to teach us about business because nobody better to teach God's children how to be successful than people that are believers. If you can have a profound faith in God and be successful, the two go together. You don't have to choose one or the other. And that to me was so inspiring because, I don't know, but back in the day, there was stigma. Oh, well, if you're rich, then you must not believe in God, and this, that, and the other. But things have changed 100%. One of the things they said is the world needs godly leaders to help fix the world. It all starts at home. And I'm just going to read some highlights. I like this praise and worship. They go together. Success starts at home. It is biblical to create wealth because we can forward God's kingdom, and he loves us to be entrepreneurs and independent. I got to meet Nick Vujicic, the man with no arms and no legs. Did you see my pictures of him? He's an international renowned speaker. He was born in Australia, and he tried to commit suicide in the bathroom one night by drowning himself when he was about 10, 12, and he wasn't successful, obviously. But when his mom talked to him later that night, why, honey, did you want to do that? And he says, well, nobody's going to love me. I'm not going to be able to support myself. I'm not going to be able to have a normal life. And then God turned on him in a positive way. God said to me, okay, so you have no arms and no legs, but I gave you a brain. Use your brain. And he became a millionaire before he was 27. And his dad was a refugee, and they came to Australia when he was a baby, and his dad worked 3 jobs, and he was able to retire his dad and his mother and bought them homes. He went on to fall in love and get married, and he has 4 children of his own. Sometimes I get in a pity party and I feel sorry for myself because things aren't going well, or maybe I still have 25 more pounds to lose. And then I meet Nick, who has no arms and no legs, gone his whole life. And he says he has enough money now to where he can he hires people to be his arms and legs. So wherever he travels, he's traveled in every country in the world. He's met 17 presidents in the world. Um, this guy is amazing. His faith in God is mind-boggling. And to think that he has no arms and legs and he's praising God the whole time now, and he's not depressed. So those of us that suffer from any little bit of depression, what light bulb moment, at least for me. And so he says, his whole thing was um, work hard but smart and let your money work for you. He started vacuuming with his chin because he wanted to earn $2 a week at home. So he would take, when he's a little kid, he was making $2 a week from his parents. And get out your Bible. He said, what do you want and how bad do you want it? And he said, just get up and do something. Get in action. You don't have to be perfect to start your business. You just have to be in action. And I thought that was really practical. If you live in America, you live in the land of opportunity. He said there's three goals that we have to have. One is faith, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Two, daily reading of scripture. And three, a healed heart. Get counseling if you need it. He did. And then I guess number four is go out and tell someone else about Jesus. So those were the four things that he's focused on. And if you don't know what your goal is, how will you know when you've achieved it? So we have to have clear goals, put them on paper. And so he said you reach your goals even when you're in fear. When he was 19 years old, and remember, no arms, no legs, he had made $38,000 cash, and he took it to Africa with a team of his buddies, and they bought diapers and washers and dryers for the people in Africa in need. I mean, here I am, a 65-year-old woman, and I don't have $38,000 cash readily that I could just go get out of the bank and do that. I have a retirement account, but this young man at 19 saved 38,000 cash. He blew my mind. And then we had a real estate teacher on, and they are doing these things called impact classes, and my husband and I are going to them. It's a 3-day workshop on investing in real estate. And then another weekend, it's going to be a 3-day workshop on learning how to do stock market. They've had these incredible teachers, and they're only charges $97 for those 3-day workshops. I mean, it was incredible. So the stock market guy was super good, and his name was Steve Champa. And he said 42% of Americans retire broke, less than $10,000 saved in retirement. And that was really scary. And he said, you become who you hang out with. So, I love the fact that we are like-minded people wanting to grow our business, wanting to grow our teams. And, we build each other up. Then there was a gentleman who's a real estate expert named Joe Johnson. I mean, no, Joe Johnson was the founder of Life Surge. Life Surge is the total event. They had Tim Tebow on, who's a former NFL football player. Easy on the eyes. I was in the second row. Thank you very much. I had a great view. And so he talked about how Jesus gave his life for mine and yours. And we have infinite value and worth because Jesus gave his life for us. And the gospel is for all people. See everybody you meet as having infinite value. Search life God's way. Run after what you really want. Run after hurting people and help them. get some great coaches in our lives that will help us show up to heaven exhausted because we knew our life mattered. Then there was a great real estate teacher. He's doing one of these 3-day weekends. His name was James Smith. And he talked about gratitude. And he said, you know, some of you may need to go on a mission trip for more than a week. How about a month or 6 months? I thought that was really cool. Where you spend your time is where your heart is. You need to have multiple sources of income. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. You can change where you are and where you end up. Then Ed Milet, my fave. He met his wife in kindergarten and he wrote that book, One More. And he said, if you can survive emotional pain on this side, the gifts are coming. Look for your giftedness. His dad was an alcoholic, he shared, and his giftedness from that experience was he could get along with everybody and learn how to communicate with everybody, because he had to sometimes, when his dad walked in, it was scary for his mom and little sister. So he would have them go upstairs and he would handle his dad by getting him on the couch, getting him distracted. Because if he came home and saw the gin, he would do 8 shots right away. Boom, boom, boom. But his dad did find Alcoholics Anonymous and he became sober when Ed was 15. So he got to live another 35 years with his dad. See his dad be sober. And he said the second gift that he learned was learning how to communicate and move people emotionally. And that's his service to God. It forced him to be fully present in each moment. And he says, you're the most qualified to help somebody that you used to be. And he used the example, an AA person was the one that was qualified to help his dad become sober. And then his dad went on to help hundreds of other men become sober. We're most qualified to help somebody we used to be. So for instance, in plexus, if we've had gut health or migraines or all these horrible things, and then we start taking plexus and over a period of time, we have that root healing, then we're more qualified to go out and help others because we have healed that part of us that can go out and help somebody else. We're most qualified to help somebody we used to be. And he says, take the lonely road because that's where the blessings are, at the end of the lonely road. And there's 4 Ds. They're not from God. They're from the devil. And he said it's doubt, discouragement, delusion, and delay. And he said, you are never alone, because in the Bible it says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And he took Jesus as his business partner. And just totally, we are not our possessions or our fears. And then Bethany Hamilton, the one who got her arm taken off by a shark when she was only 13, she lost 60% of her blood. She almost died. She had a 10% survival opportunity, the doctor said. She's incredible. She just had her 4th baby 10 months ago. And she grew up going to church. She just praises Jesus. And but she also knew that at age 8, she wanted to be a world champion. And she was back in the water 21 days after the shark took her arm. She did not let that stop her. She went on to become a world champion in surfing. And so these are people that have gone through horrific moments. And it was just amazing. So the whole thing was invest in your own healing. Do what is scary. believe in God is going to take you where you need to go. Then you can advance his kingdom and help other people on this world, in this world that we're meant to help. Because when we are blessed, we can become a blessing to others, basically. I could go on, but I know we only have 10 minutes. So
Oh,
there you
Joni, what you just said just stung my heart. And what you just finished up your training with is what our CEO says all the time. I don't know if you knew that. He says, I've been blessed and now I'm going to be a blessing to others. And a lot of us Plexus ambassadors really have taken that to heart. I feel that same way. I loved everything you shared. And my kids are actually overly obsessed with Bethany Hamilton.
go. Mm.
She is a role model in our home. We talk about her a lot in doing hard things through trials and hardships, and having your arm taken from a shark. Like, that was something she loved to do and trusted. She trusted the water. She trusted what was in the water, and it felt her. It wasn't the water that felt her. It was life. It was what was in the water, right? And I think it's really incredible everything you shared. I know the team resonates with. I know that I resonated with it, and that was all such good nuggets. Thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing what you learned and bringing home notes and sharing those notes, because I think all of us can walk this business, walk life with all of those lessons learned. So thank you, Joni, for taking that time.
My pleasure.
I love that we get to bring what we learn in the outside world of coaching and mindset and trainings and conferences and all of that. And I want to share something before I turn the time over to Karli, because everything she was sharing about some of the speakers and what she was learning, I don't know if I've shared this with you guys, but I went on a field trip. Did I share this field trip experience? Does that ring a bell with my daughter? So Aspen, who is 9, has been begging me to go on a field trip with her since she was literally in first grade. So it's been 3 years. Every year she's like, Mom, what field trip are you going on with me this year? And as you know, when you have other kids at home, it's really hard to go on field trips because you have to find daycare, and daycare is limited for us. And so I'd always be like, maybe next year, sis, maybe next year. And now that my 3 olders are all in school, I only have one at home. I'm like, I'm going to make it happen. It's much easier to find a sitter for one kid. I'm going to be on that field trip. And so that field trip came 2 weeks ago. And I remember driving to the school, and I remember getting out of my car and walking to the school bus to meet my daughter there. And I remember having all of these negative feelings about being on this field trip. It was a Monday. Mondays are so busy for me. And I kept on thinking to myself, why am I here? Like, I have so much to be doing. I'm like listing all these things that I could be doing, even though I want to be there at the field trip, but my mind cannot focus on my daughter. And I felt bad feeling that way. I remember texting my husband being like, oh, the bus is so loud. Like, I can't even think straight. All these kids are wanting my attention, and all of them are squishing on this little tiny seat. And I don't know how bus laws are the way that they are, but there's like 4 little bums next to me, and there's bad breath, and there's the stinky boys. And I remember just being so negative the whole hour drive to this museum that we went to. And I tried so much to like fake a smile to my daughter. Like, she was just milking her time with me. And I get off the bus and I look over, and there is a man getting out of his van that supports his wheelchair because he has ALS. Ooh. And he was there with his son on this field trip with such a good attitude. Could not speak to his son, but I could feel the energy from his heart that he was there as a chaperone with his son and his group of friends. And he hired someone to push him around because he cannot move in his wheelchair. He cannot speak to his son, but he hired this lady to come push him around. And the entire museum, for some reason, God put me in his path. And my mindset shifted. And I thought, gosh, if he can do it and have that attitude without even speaking words, so can I. And the entire rest of the field trip, my mind was in such a different space. And I know without a doubt that my daughter needed me when she needed me on this field trip, and that I was there presently, not just physically, but mentally too. And I should never get on a school bus again and think, gosh, this is awful, when that man probably begs to be on those field trips. And he doesn't probably get any of the time that I do with my child outside of a field trip. So it's just amazing, like Joni, the emotions that you were speaking, what brought to my heart, because I know all of you guys have maybe been in a similar situation of like, I can't do it, or I don't want to do it, or I have negative feelings about doing it. And then something falls right in front of you and you think, oh my gosh, I can do this. If they can do it, I can do it. And I know I can do it. So Thank you, Joni, because that just brought some emotions up for me, and I just appreciate everything you shared. And now, Karli, it's your turn.
Yay. Okay. That was incredible, and I appreciate that. And um something that's been on my heart a lot is comfort zones and how we each have our own comfort zones, the way where we like to be, to feel good, to feel calm, to feel peace, what we consider to be, somewhat happy. And it was interesting as you guys were talking about all those people, like Joni, as you were talking about, Bethany, I think that was her name. And then the first guy with no arms and no legs, like what comfort zone do those guys have? Like that is incredible that our comfort zones are all so different. I don't, for example, with Bethany, I don't even like to go in the ocean past like my knees because I hate sharks that much. And this girl's actually been bitten by a shark, lost an arm, and still goes right back out there. Like our comfort zones are so massively different. It's insane. And like Jessica was saying with that guy with ALS, like, sometimes I feel self-conscious if I feel bloated or something. That's where I feel uncomfortable. And this guy is out there in a wheelchair having someone else push him, completely like incapable of doing things and comfortable with it, doing it. And it's absolutely incredible. And it's funny that you guys both talked about those things because I was like, I have really been thinking about comfort zones. And as you talk about those people, I'm like, this is why I was supposed to talk about this today. So it's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. So like I said, comfort zones are different for different people. Now, most of us know, but I wanted to look it up specifically. A comfort zone is a psychological state in which a person feels at ease because they're not being tested. Now, like Joni was talking about, from a religious standpoint, if you have a belief in God, being tested is a big, huge part of why we're on the earth. Not everyone believes that, and that's totally fine. My belief is, yes, God wants us to go through hard things so that we can learn and grow. And that totally puts us out of our comfort zone, no matter what it is, whether you're a parent or whether it's involving work or whether it's involving just anything about life in general, neighborhoods or anything. We need to be pushed out of our comfort zone occasionally. Now, I call myself the comfort queen. I really like, I don't even like to camp because I don't like to be uncomfortable. I don't like to stay at other people's houses. That's not family because I don't want to be uncomfortable. Like, I am a comfort queen, so much a comfort queen. But years ago, I heard something from Jessica G, who's part of the Bucket List family. I'm not sure if you guys know, probably all of you, some of you, most of you know who that is. So it's this couple, Garrett and Jessica G, and their kids. They have 3 kids now, but Garrett was actually on the BYU soccer team with my brother. And so we got to know Jessica and Garrett pretty well. And they were always super friendly, but you could tell that there was just, they just were so, like, they just wanted to adventure and they just wanted to be and they just wanted to go. Well, at least Garrett did. But with Jessica, it didn't seem like that much. Like she seemed like, good being in Utah, good being a mom, all that things. But she said years ago when they first started that, let me see, they started this whole journey where they sold everything and they went to tour the country and now they have millions of followers and that's their life. But she said that they started because she wanted to get outside of her comfort zone. Now, again, selling everything you own and going to travel the world is not something that would be out of my comfort zone. That would be something that would be like completely out of my world. Like that's just not even something that I could function. That's not me. Right. And so I remember, I'll never forget her saying that because I thought, man, is my comfort zone tiny, tiny, tiny. And expanding it would offer so much. Right. And there is a level where we all are comfortable with different things and we can't really compare ourselves that much as if it's a really negative thing, right? Like I'm not going to sit there and look at Jessica and Garrett and be like, oh my gosh, I am like such a comfort queen because I won't travel the world with my 3 children, never having like a home base. It's okay that my comfort zone is a little bit different. And as I expand it, it's still not going to be this massive thing because that's just not my personality. But expanding your comfort zone step by step is good. We all need that. And I was thinking about that, especially this weekend, because this weekend we went on the girls' trip on Friday. That was so much fun. And there are 2 things that really got me out of my comfort zone. One was leaving Kensley. That's really hard for me. Most of you know she has seizures, and especially at night, There's a lot of PTSD at night. She wears a watch. There's a lot of false alarms. You're not with her. It's a lot. And so for me, my comfort zone, instead of like, leaving on a trip for a week, my comfort zone has been expanding as I go on dates with my husband and we leave her with somebody else, or going on a one night outing like I just did. Like, my comfort zone in that is a lot different, and that's okay. And I'm not going to compare myself to somebody in any other sense, whether they have a daughter with other health issues or different things or no, um, so that's something that I am trying to learn, is how to open that comfort zone, but you open it one baby step at a time. You don't need to expand it to where you're just out of sorts, because that's not good for anybody. Another comfort zone was the fact that I invited somebody to that overnighter that I'd only met once. I met her at a farmer's market, and she was gluten-free. She had a gluten-free kitchen. That's all I talked to her one time in December. And I just had this feeling. I was like, this girl, I think she'd want to go. And so she came. She was so fun. She was outgoing. She was fun. She ended up knowing Melissa, and Jessica knew her, has met her there too. And she just fit right in. And it was just one of those things where every time you expand your comfort zone, the nice thing is, the nice thing is, as you expand, it usually stays, right? And then you keep expanding and you keep expanding, right? So next time we have a retreat that I can invite somebody, I'm already out here. So it's not as hard, and it's something that you get more comfortable with. So that's the same way in our business. Everything we do may be at one time out of our comfort zone. I'm a senior Ruby now, but I was once on the products myself, not sharing with anybody. And talking to my cousin about it was out of my comfort zone at the time. Now, I'm totally okay talking to multiple people, anybody, because my comfort zone has expanded. And it's the same way with all of us. Like, you just kind of start in a spot where you're just letting yourself move farther and farther to where you're trying new things, you're doing new things, you're less scared about it. And that is super important. And what's really cool for me is Plexus has done that for me, and I didn't even realize it as it's going. It's like just, opening these walls for me that I didn't know it was doing that until I look back at different things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had a memory about my Insta story I did. And I was very stone faced, like no emotion in my talking. And I have so much more, I feel like, comfort of talking in front of a camera and being here as a group and training without it having to be like perfectly put together and all those things. When I first used to do What is Plexus Calls, I was so nervous, and I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But guess what? Every time I did a Plexus call, What is Plexus Call, my comfort zone got wider, and now I'm comfortable doing it. I don't feel like I have to prepare forever, and I feel like I could just do it on the spot. And if it's like, hey, let's do What is Plexus Call tomorrow, I'd be like, sweet. That is such a blessing. And that's where I want everybody to be, in a place where your comfort zone is widening to a place that you are so confident in what you're doing, and you want to do more. You want to keep growing. You want to keep expanding yourself. I am going to tell you guys a couple things really fast. I want to shorten this just a bit. So why is being out of your comfort zone important? Like, I don't like change. I don't like really adventure. I'm a very, homebody comfort queen, like I said. So I was thinking to myself, like, why do I even need to do that? Like, what is exactly the point of that? And it grows for you to be comfortable, even though it's super uncomfortable. It's true. It's true. It's awesome, Jeff. So, okay, the first thing I want to talk about really quickly is that growing out of your comfort zone does build confidence. The way that I spoke in my first What is Plexus calls, the way that I even interact with people, I am way more confident now, way more confident in myself, who I am, that I have things to offer. And that is a blessing. And that comes from continuing to expand what you think is normal and comfortable for you. And we also develop new skills when we become adaptable to change. That's really important for me. I hate change. I've hated it since I left home at 18. It was the worst. But as you get more change that comes your way, you really can't help but grow. And then every time you change, you're like, okay, well, I changed here. This was a change and it worked out fine, right? So I know I can do this. I know I can change again because I've changed before. This has been different. And that's such a blessing because you're in so much more peace in that change. Okay. You also get to test your abilities, right? Like if you would have come to me at the beginning, Jessica did come to me at the beginning when I started Plexus and was like, hey, maybe you should talk to somebody about this. No. Thank you. I'd never do that, right? That was never in my comfort zone. But look at me now. I'm like, I talk to people about it all the time and I do trainings, I do different things, and you develop these skills I didn't even know I had. I know I like to talk. I've always liked to talk and I like to teach, but who knew that I could like hone it in on something like this? That's incredible. And it's given me that amazing confidence and, seeing this kind of teachability that I have from a different aspect than just like an elementary school teacher. It's really, really, really cool. Another thing that coming out of your comfort zone does is increase your creativity, which is awesome. And one thing that's cool is creative activities can help to give you an outlet for your emotions, which is so nice in our community of people because, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And so I was actually just talking to one of my friends and how when we first had babies, it was very lonely sometimes because I'm just there with my baby who does nothing, right? And now I have more kids that are grown, but yet I'm still kind of just myself at my home, right? And so having this community of people, this is my outlet for my emotions and feeling connected to people and these different creative things that we come up with. And I just think that that's really cool about getting outside of your comfort zone. When you try something new, sorry, I lost my spot. Actually, let's move on. One more thing. Sorry, I want to hurry so that Jessica has time too. Personal growth. That's what Jessica said. So when you step beyond your comfort zone, like we've talked about, it's a catalyst for personal growth. You will be stagnant and you may think to yourself that I'm good, I'm a great person, this is good. And I even will use that I will use that for myself again. Okay, my dad's side of the family, we're very talkative, we're very loud people. So I always just felt like a very talkative person. But the more that I have been in Plexus, the more I discover it's not that I'm more talkative, but like I'm more purposeful in my talk and I'm more comfortable talking about different things I may not have been comfortable about. And I've always been a person that likes really small groups of people. But as I've grown outside of my comfort zone in this Plexus world, that's something that's changed for me too. Those are things of personal growth. And frankly, I didn't even know I needed. But because of this, I have it. When you are young, we are more likely to take risks. Most of us are like that, right? But as we grow, we start to fear failure. And that's something that we need to get out of our heads and get out of our own way. And the more that we practice it every day now, no matter what age you are, as you age, the easier it's going to be. And like I said, the bigger your comfort zone is. And you could be like the bucket list family where you could be traveling the world at one point. And that's your comfort zone. It's really incredible. The other thing that I really like, and I think I mentioned this already, is that as you grow out of your comfort zone, you just become more adaptable and ready to do it again and again and again. Once you've done something once, you feel good about it the next time. That's incredible. So to tie this all quickly into our world of Plexus, business growth, all the things that we want from life, from Plexus, it's just something that I really challenge all of you to do. Even think to yourself, what are things? Name a list of things that you are scared about. There's something in your mind that's like not wanting to go there, not wanting to feel fear, uncomfortable, like stressed about something. Remember your own level. Don't try and blow your level up because that's not going to work for anybody. But take those steps this week, especially in your business. Maybe post about something you have not wanted to post about because you're kind of uncomfortable about it. One little post will get you that perfect little oomph, okay? Next time we have a retreat, invite more people than you did before. A handful more people, right? Then next time you'll do a handful more people, then a handful more people, and it will just keep growing and growing and growing. But that is going to get you to where you need to be. And if you stay where you are because you're comfortable, you're not going to go anywhere. And you're going to look back and think, dang, I really wanted to be a senior gold, or I really wanted to get to emerald, but I'm not doing the things that need to get me there because I just want to stay in this bubble of comfort. I know what it's like to be a gold. I know what it's like to be a senior ruby. I know what it's like. And I don't want to keep going because it might be hard and it might be uncomfortable and I might not do what I know I can do. keep going in your business and the things you do in life and grow out of your comfort zone. You will be so much happier. You'll be confident. You'll feel that personal growth, and it will be easier as you continue to do it. So that's what I was saying, Jess. Take it over, girl.
Thank you so much, Karli. You guys, that was so, so good. Karli, I could feel your energy through the screen. And it's fun to hear you talk about that because that's not the Karli I knew 5 years ago. Like to see you step outside your comfort zone and be like, I would never even be gold. It would take me 5 years to even get to that point. Like think about your social life and your relationship with others and your discomfort to feeling comfortable. It's completely blossomed. Like I'm so proud of you. You're like a dandelion. You know, when they like fold like this, and maybe it's more because it's on my heart right now because I have 800,000 in my yard. But like, you know, when they blossom and you're like, where the crap did that come from? Like Karli, like, where the crap did that come from? I hate that language. Where did that come from? You guys, like, I'm so proud of you, Karli. And I know that we all see it. And what's fun, you guys, is like, you're all like a dandelion. Like, it's amazing when you decide to just like open up. And what's funny is I pulled weeds for 6 hours yesterday and I just went into my backyard and I'm like, I didn't even look like I pulled weeds. All these dandelions are starting to just come out of nowhere. And I think it's important that we allow that growth to happen and let our bodies and our mindset and our leadership and all of that within our business just unfold. So anyways, Amanda, I did not see you just a second ago. I know you've been having connection issues, but we're going to have you next time. Is that okay? Our face. Love you all. Thank you so much for coming today. I cannot wait for next Thursday. Start to set your calendars up for summer so that we can have a successful just life and business team call. So love you all. I hope you have all a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.